I want more babies in the United States of America. And I want beautiful young men and women who are eager to welcome them into the world and eager to raise them.
In June 1798, English economist Thomas Malthus published an essay titled On the Principle of Population. In this essay, Malthus argued that because population grows exponentially and food grows linearly, if the world keeps pumping out babies like pigs, everything will soon collapse because food is necessary to the existence of man. That makes sense, right? But then, in this same essay, Malthus wrote that you shouldn't use contraceptives like condoms, even if you're married and you already have 17 children. Oh, okay. This doesn't make sense. Naja, I mean, this is like when my ex-wife told me that I must always tell her the truth, but, you know, I mustn't tell her that her nose ring is horrible. Now let's get serious for a second. By 1822, utilitarian philosopher Francis Place and many others started promoting contraceptive, and in 1968, Paul Ehrlich, in his book, The Population Bomb, claimed that the battle to feed all of humanity is over, and predicted that hundreds of millions would starve to death in the 1970s. So, what do you think happened? Well, as governments and intellectuals were warning us that babies were atomic bombs, people of the world listened. Together with economic hardship, women's education, and work pressure, people eventually said to themselves, "Fork it, we will have fewer kids." And now, 50 years after people started having fewer babies, governments around the world want more babies. So would they do? Well, they began to act like your lunatic, despotic, idiotic friend who thinks this thing can control you.
China's industrial engine is slowing, starved of the one resource it can't import: young people. Now, Beijing is resorting to a desperate, controversial economic move to force population growth. A policy turn no one saw coming. Beijing is imposing a 13% tax on condoms and contraceptives. After 3 decades of exemption, Beijing is putting a price tag on protection.
In China, starting from January 1st, 2026, contraceptive pills and devices now incur a value-added tax of 13%. The goal is to make contraceptives expensive so that you would be, forced to have more babies. I don't want to go into why countries need more babies because I know you're smart enough to understand or to have studied the negative effects of a declining population. Instead, let's see how other countries are desperately trying to force people to have babies. In 2025, pro-natalist couple Simone and Malcolm Collins reportedly suggested to the Trump administration to create a motherhood medal for women who have 6 or more children. What a brilliant idea. I mean, the last time you went to the grocery store, it was a medal you used to buy groceries, right? When you pay your rent, insurance, or water bill, I guess it was some medals you used to pay. But why would anyone think such a stupid idea, like a medal to have 6 kids, is needed right now? Well, many American intellectuals, including my friend Elon Musk, have been warning about the danger of population decline for some time now.
So let's talk about one. Here's a question that's near and dear to your heart. You have a lot of children.
Yes. I'm trying to set a good
example. The birth
example.
rate is down in the U.S. What needs to change so people start having more children?
Yeah, so this question has troubled me for a long time because you can look at the demographics. It's a very slow-moving ship. I mean, you know who's going to be an adult in 20 years based on who was born last year. So, if you want to, I think have a good approximation for population, really look at how many babies were born last year in a particular country. Multiply that by life expectancy. That's the number of people that will be adults in that country. That's the steady state population if birth rate remains constant. Now, birth rate is not constant, it is dropping. So you look at the second derivative of birth rate, and actually we see an acceleration in the drop in the fertility rate. Second derivative of the fertility rate is very bad. So Where does this lead? This does not lead to a greater civilization. This leads to a civilization that potentially dies not with a bang, but with a whimper in adult diapers. That is a sad ending.
Yeah, it's sad for our civilization to end. But do we ever take a minute to ask why Americans don't have babies?
And the New York Times reports the Trump administration is considering proposals to encourage more American women to get married and have babies. The incentives would potentially include giving $5,000 in cash to American mothers after delivery and funding programs to educate women on their menstrual cycles.
Oh, okay, now I understand. American women stopped having babies because they don't have $5,000 and they don't, they don't know about their menstrual cycle, right? Wenn Menschen keinen gesunden Menschenverstand haben, erfinden sie Lösungen, die kein Problem lösen.
In the heart of the Kremlin, Vladimir Putin is facing a crisis. Russia's population is in steep decline. With a fertility rate of only 1.5 children per woman, the country is heading towards a demographic disaster. But Putin has a plan, one that's as controversial as it is audacious. At a recent press conference, Putin declared that the preservation of the Russian people was the nation's highest priority. Workers are being encouraged to use their lunch and coffee breaks for procreation.
Hey, yeah, you heard that right. In 2024, the regional health minister in Russia, Yevgeny Shestopalov, suggested that being too busy at work is a lame excuse for not having kids. So, what is the solution to that? Well, people should engage in procreation during breaks at the office. Huh? We should be sleeping with our co-workers now? Oh, okay, but what if you hate everybody you work with? Or rather, let's ask a better question. If people are too busy with work to make babies, how can they have the time required to take care of babies, even if they manufacture them during breaks?
Kan sex redde Danmarks fremtid? Danmark har et problem. Fødselsraten er den laveste i 27 år, og der fødes ikke nok børn til at forsørge den aldrende befolkning. Skiftende regeringer har ikke kunne løse problemet, men der må være en løsning. Her er Emma. Hun er dansker, men selvom hun er født og opvokset i Danmark, er hun undfanget i Paris. Lige deroppe på det der hotelværelse. For 30 år siden tog Emmas forældre en lille sviptur. Hvis vægge kunne tale. Men det viser sig, at Emmas historie ikke er så enestående. 10% af alle danske børn er undfanget på en ferie.
At rejse og få nye oplevelser, det påvirker parforholdet, fordi de får overskud til at se og opleve hinanden på ny. Det frigør endorfiner i hjernen, og så får folk lyst til sex. Det får vi børn af.
Faktisk har danskerne 46% mere sex på ferier sammenlignet med hverdagen. Så for at hjælpe den faldende danske fødselsrate, vil Spis opfordre alle danskere til at tage på en romantisk storbyferie. Det hjælper selvfølgelig også lidt på vores fremtidige forretning. Men er det ikke motivation nok at gøre det for Danmark, så har vi lavet en lille konkurrence. Book din rejse med vores ægløsningsrabat. Fyr den af. Bevis, du har undfanget et barn, og vind 3 års forbrug af babyudstyr og en børnevenlig ferie.
In case you don't understand Danish and you're too lazy to read the subtitle, this video talks about how people are more likely to make love on vacation. So if you go on vacation through this particular company and get pregnant during that vacation, the company will give you the baby supplies for the first 3 years or so. But would the company help you carry the baby too? What about the cost of raising the kid? And what about, See, we're asking too many questions. Just have more babies and you'll be fine. In 2023, during a national mothers meeting, my pudgy, wahnhaft, aufgeblasen friend and fellow dictator Kim Jong-un was shown as he cried on national television while begging North Korean women to have more kids. Jong-un framed childbearing as a patriotic duty to stop the country's population decline. Now, you may want to ask me, isn't this the same North Korea where people are starving to death? Yeah, in fact, in the same period, the same year when this handsome dude was begging women to have more babies, the BBC published a report about how North Koreans are literally starving to death. Now you might want to ask, if there's a country that is not able to feed the 20 million or 25 million people it currently has, why is such a country begging for more babies? Well, most political leaders who want you to have more babies don't think about you. They're thinking about the country, its economy, who will pay taxes, and most importantly, how to find enough cannon fodder anytime they're drunk and want to start some silly wars. From the Japanese government creating a government-run AI-powered dating app, to Italy giving you a free plot of land in a village if you have more babies, to China cold-calling women to ask if they were pregnant or when they plan to have their next child, to Iran removing all information about contraceptives and vasectomies from public health apps and websites, to Denmark and Sweden, creating a procreation vacation. One thing is clear, governments all around the world want you to manufacture more babies, but they're too dumb to understand why most people are not doing it. Instead of creating an optimistic world where people want their offspring to live, they're increasing the prices of contraceptives. Instead of making it possible for people to run their family on one income, they're promising you $5,000 and some useless medals if you have 6 kids. Instead of making life affordable so people could afford homes and bills needed to take care of kids, they're suggesting you should be sleeping with your co-workers to create more babies for your country. They're all like my ex-wife. Too many nose rings, yet she doesn't want anybody to tell her. Thanks for watching.